Hello, my name is Sydney Grams, and for my grade 11 English class at Oak Bay High, we are studying and presenting on Shakespeare's play Macbeth. Written to please King James of England, the play follows the history of his Scottish ancestors and builds an elaborate and slightly fantastical story featuring witches and magic that makes the play both frightening and exciting for its era, while still remaining a timeless play. Although it centers around Macbeth's life, ambitions, and demise, it exaggerates that anyone trying to overthrow King James will likely face the same fate as Macbeth for betraying Banquo. William Shakespeare was baptized on April 26, 1564, and because most babies were baptized 3 days after birth, it can be assumed he was born on April 23rd. He grew up in Stratford-upon-Avon in England among 7 other siblings born to John Shakespeare and Mary Arden, and attended a local grammar school, but most likely left at 14 or 15 like most other students, and due to his family's serious financial debt, was unable to attend university. Despite this, he left with a detailed knowledge of what he'd learned, which showed in his passion for classic writing like Ovid's Tale, that he incorporated into his own plays and poetry. At age 18, he married Anne Hathaway, who was 8 years older than him as well as 3 months pregnant, and their first child Susanna was born in 1583, and 2 years later in 1585, twins Hamnet and Judith were born. The years following were named his lost years because there is almost no record on what Shakespeare was doing during 1578 to 82 and then again from 1585 to 92. In 1594, Shakespeare became a founding member, actor, playwright, and shareholder of the Lord Chamberlain's Men, later called the King's Men, who performed for large crowds at the Globe Theatre. Shakespeare died on his 52nd birthday, April 23, 1616, and was buried in the Holy Trinity Church in Stratford, where he was baptized. This soliloquy from Act 2, Scene 1 shows Macbeth alone with his thoughts after being prompted by Lady Macbeth again to murder King Duncan. Prior to this, Macbeth and Banquo, coming back from battle, are confronted by 3 witches who give them both prophecies, addressing Macbeth first as Thane of Cawdor and then King. He and Lady Macbeth must come to the conclusion that they must kill Duncan, and even though he seems determined and even power-hungry at first, internally Macbeth is clearly in a state of turmoil, with the guilt of inviting Duncan for dinner and then killing him in cold blood. He questions one last time if he should or even wants to follow through with the plan Lady Macbeth devised willingly. It is our first real look at his moral turning point and vivid imagination as he envisions the dagger and gouts of blood. It is the same imagination that will later drive him insane and create the image of Banquo, another victim of his greed, murdered and grotesque at his dinner table. Although reluctant at first throughout the soliloquy, we follow him navigating the situation, and it seems that he is still willing to talk himself out of it while in the absence of Lady Macbeth's overbearing persistence. Macbeth knows that if he kills Duncan, he will be too scared and guilt-ridden to sleep, saying in lines 18 to 19, "Wicked dreams abuse the curtained sleep witchcraft celebrates." Although it seems as if he is trying to work against his visions in the beginning, he begins to accept what he is going to do before he has done it. Where he first said that the visions were a product of his heat-oppressed brain, now he hints at witchcraft as he comes to his own terms with murdering Duncan. Thank you for listening to my analysis of Shakespeare's play, Macbeth.